let me tell you a story where I can assure you that giant exist. When I was younger, not taller than 3 feet tall, I remember when I was going to my grandparents and they had a garden. And I remember one fall, and they had those rows of plants and potatoes, carrots. And I remember going and helping them picking the vegetables. And I remember my grandmother had all these little plates, and she'd put all this little carrots and some peppers and cucumbers for us to snack on. And she was saying, "Look at these big plates." And you know what? These were the size of our heads, and they were huge. And we used to say thank you, and we used to go out and help them. And my grandmother used to love that we help. And sometimes we pulled too many carrots, but hey, that's another story. And I remember as well in the spring, so when it was all done, the spring was coming, and I remember us going into the garden with nothing but the just big patch of dirt. And I remember on the patch of dirt, she would say, "Here, kids, let's get some shovels and just go play in the dirt." And I remember we'd go in and we'd get all dirty and shovels and rakes and just moving the dirt around. For us, it was like a big fun, knowing that it would become a garden soon, and we could not do that later on. Not knowing that my grandmother just loved it because she didn't have to do the work of moving the dirt around to make it nice. And I remember her telling us, in the dirt, you see, you take your little fingers and you go in the dirt and you make little lines, and that's how you make little ditches so that it tells you where you can walk in the garden, and the little bumps where you could put the seeds on. And we'll go with our fingers and we'll go on the dirt and just making mini gardens. And we loved it. And the beauty of that is, after we were finished, she always had what we called the big people's plate. And the big people's plate, what they were places where she'd put all the carrots and the peppers, and she says, "You know what? These I got at the stores, but give us a little time, and new ones will grow in the garden." And it was amazing because we're used to the little plates, but on top of that, we knew that the adults had the big plates. And so, how come can't we eat in the big plates? And she says, "Well, you know what? Only big people eat in the big plates." And I remember looking at my parents and saying, they were like twice, maybe 3 times as tall as I were. And I realized, okay, so I need to be bigger to eat in the big plates. And the amazing thing is, I remember at some point went home, because we used to go to see my grandparents once a week. And I came back one Sunday, went to the garden, and I could see that where we had played in the dirt, there were some nice rows, and the rows were like 1 feet, 2 feet apart, and big mounds. And she said, "That's where I'd plant my potatoes and the carrots." Everything was all lined up, but it was huge. And all I could see was, okay, Grandma, how could you make those nice long rows for your gardens? When she said, "Because I had a helper." But these are huge rows. This must be a big person. Well, you see, and then she would tell us, these are the plates that people use when they come and see me. Well, this is the plate of my helper when they come to set up the garden. And it would say, "Imagine how big that person must be." And that with their fingers, they could actually make the rows in the garden. But guess what? We never met the person. I remember, and she gave me the plate, is that plate, it's got this size. This person must have been giants. And that's why I'm telling you, giants must exist. And so this video is, I'm also sharing with my Build to Serve community, sharing with you that in life we start with little ideas, little outcome. Then it comes to a fact where we say we're big people, we eat in a bigger plate, but we have to keep in mind that somewhere there are much bigger plates out there. And the idea is, sometimes we just don't know they exist. We need sometimes people to guide us, to know that they exist. And then we have to believe that we can get to a place where we deserve those big plates. On this, have an excellent day. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.